In a far corner of the world, there exists a woman. A woman whose beauty has the power to entangle even the strongest of leaders. And today, she stands bold enough to threaten a fearless African president. But the question is, who truly is this woman? Where did she appear from, and how did her journey reach all the way to Donald Trump? The tale is about to twist in ways you would never have imagined. Friends, picture for just a second a woman who once lit up the dazzling stage of modeling. And now, she resides as the hostess of the most powerful residence in America, the White House. Yes, we are speaking of Melania Trump, the third wife of Donald Trump, a name that slipped out of glossy fashion magazines, only to become a framed portrait within the story of American politics. She is the figure who stepped off the runway and entered the exclusive circle of US First Ladies, adored by the media on one side and harshly criticized on the other. At first glance, her life looks no less than a Hollywood script: lavish Manhattan penthouses, rooms glittering with gold, handbags worth fortunes, and a lifestyle that feels like a fantasy for the average person. But here lies the real question: was it only about a life of extravagance? Or was she placed as a shining ornament in the ruthless game of power? Private jets in the sky, sparkling diamonds on display, luxury brands showcased like trophies. It often appeared that this life wasn't meant to be lived, but to be exhibited to the entire world. Reports even suggest that after Donald Trump became president, Melania chose not to move to the White House immediately. Why? Because she wasn't willing to part with her palace-like New York apartment. And even as the First Lady of the United States, she remained distant from the struggles of ordinary citizens, more often spotted at high-end fashion shows or making appearances at elite European brand events, as though she was not a representative of the people, but a representative of the luxury world itself. Melania Trump's modeling career was surrounded by controversy right from the start. Alongside working with high-end fashion labels, she also posed for photo shoots that were considered daring and even scandalous. Back in the early 2000s, a French magazine published a semi-nude spread of her images that resurfaced years later, right in the middle of Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Those photographs were enough to ignite chaos across America. Some praised her as a symbol of women's freedom, while others sharply questioned, should a woman with such a past ever hold the title of First Lady? Her original name was Melania Trump, and she came from a small Slovenian town called Novo Mesto. Her father sold cars. Her mother worked in a textile factory, an ordinary family by all accounts. Yet by the age of 16, Melania was already stepping onto the fashion stage, soon walking the runways of Paris, Milan, and London. But the agency she worked with in Europe carried a dark reputation, accused of pushing young girls into provocative photo sessions. Melania had images taken that some magazines refused to print, while others still float illegally across the internet today. European media claimed she built close ties with powerful designers and photographers, connections that opened doors to big contracts and fame. She never publicly addressed those accusations, but one thing was clear: her natural talent was limited, yet her opportunities were endless. Then came a turning point: a glamorous night in New York. An arrogant billionaire who believed everything had a price, Donald Trump, and a striking young model crossing paths. Was it love or a calculated exchange? Only the two of them know, but the result was marriage. And Melania's life was never the same again. 24 years apart in age, with backgrounds as different as earth and sky. On one side, Melania, a girl from the streets of Slovenia. On the other, Trump, a man who embodied wealth and raw power. For many journalists, the marriage was clear-cut. For Trump, it was about showcasing a beautiful face. For Melania, it was the golden ticket to US citizenship. Some bluntly described it as nothing more than a green card marriage. Once married, people expected her to take up the traditional First Lady role, focusing on charity and social service. But in reality, her identity remained mostly tied to expensive designer dresses, luxury handbags, and staged photo shoots. Over the years, her appearance noticeably changed. Her nose, lips, even her eyes looked different. Experts suggested multiple cosmetic surgeries. Melania denied it time and again, yet the contrast between her old and new pictures spoke louder than words. During Trump's presidency, while the nation battled one crisis after another, her lifestyle told a very different story: lavish private flights, gold-plated bedrooms, and outfits that cost more than the yearly income of an average American. She introduced the Be Best initiative, but with her husband infamous for his bullying tone and aggressive behavior, the campaign itself became the subject of ridicule. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic when America was sick and its economy collapsing. What troubled Melania most? The White House Christmas decorations, which she complained looked boring. To some, she appeared as a silent woman overshadowed by her husband, but the reality is, if she had chosen, she could have become a strong, inspiring role model like Michelle Obama. Instead, she embraced glamour over greatness. And so the question lingers, is Melania Trump just a fashion icon? Or a costly pawn placed in the ruthless game of wealth and power? The choice of answer is yours. Double quotes Mr. Troy. You may think an entire nation shields you and that no one will dare to stand against you. But never forget, true power is not only proven on battlefields. It is controlled in chambers you will never enter, behind doors forever close to you. Those you've chosen to challenge, they hold the means not just to steal your dreams, but to erase the very future of your bloodline. Every meeting you've attended, every private call you've made, every hand you trusted, we have it all recorded. Each move you make is observed, every breath accounted for. The road you've chosen might look paved with gold, yet the very bricks beneath your feet were placed by hands that can, with one gesture, reduce your empire to dust. And remember, I am not merely the wife of Trump. I am the face of a force powerful enough to redirect the flow of history itself. Every dream carries a cost, and we never fail to collect in full. You still have a choice. Step back while you can. Because soon, even your own people will turn away, and your name will survive only as a warning. A tale told to remind others of the price of defiance.